Hi, hello all. Today I just want to talk to you and show you a quick demonstration on making a small little bouquet. So there's a wedding coming up and somebody asked me to make a bouquet for the bride and then something small boutonniere for the groom. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and kind of demonstrate today. So they were supposed to have a big wedding, and of course with COVID and everything going on, they were just gonna have something small with really just close family. So maybe about 10, 15 people, and that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and use sunflowers. They're cherry, and I think she'll really like these for her bouquet. And then I'm gonna use a Million Star. It's like baby's breath, just not as big of a flower head on it. And then I have some type of eucalyptus. This is gunny eucalyptus that I'm going to use in it also. So I've already cut the stems down. They came quite long and we don't need them, of course, very long. We'll still cut these down some more. And I'm going to get rid of some of these leaves on here because we don't need them all. So this is just kind of getting things prepped for the bouquet. Now, when you're doing this, make sure you don't damage the stem. Just cut them off closely. And the reason you don't want to just rip them off is because it will take some of the stem with it, and then that can cause them to age a little bit faster than what you want. Okay, so I have them all prepped. I'm going to leave a few leaves on it later on if I decide to take some off. And then the next thing is to go ahead and prep the Million Star. You don't want tons of leaves also because it will make the stem full. So I'm just going to cut off some of the lower ones that I know will not fit inside of the actual bouquet. Those are okay if you kind of tear them off like I just did some of the leaves because of the way that they attach. They don't attach like the actual ones on the sunflowers. So we'll just get a few more of these cleaned up, ready to add. The scraps that are falling, I can go ahead and pick some of those up and use them for the actual bouquet. So I'm not going to waste any. And then all of them, any are kind of falling, don't look great. Just trim those off, and then you'll have them. So a lot of times, a lot of the prep work is what actually takes a little bit of time, and it's good to take your time and do your prep work so that everything turns out. If you don't take time on the prep work, then it's going to cause you probably some troubles later on. We're going to see if I have enough. If not, I have a little bit more material that I can start with. So you almost want to hold like a circle, like you're going to have your own little vase. And this will kind of be your vase where you're going to start to now form your bouquet. So I'm just going to hold it in my hand, and as I do this, I'm going to once again crisscross my stems in my hand. So that's going to help things lock into place where I would like them. So now I have my form here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and insert my million star as I'm still crisscrossing it as I go to help lock it in place. There we go. It's fighting me. Now, when you are making wedding bouquets, you kind of want to think also about the bride. If the bride's really tall, you know, and can handle a bigger bouquet, then you're okay with a lot of flowers. Now, if the bride is smaller, then you don't want to overpower her, because for me, the whole thing is the bride, not the bouquet. And just like if you were doing a vase arrangement, you always kind of want to keep turning and looking at what you have. I think one more stem and we're going to be pretty good with that. So here's our nice little bouquet so far. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some of my eucalyptus. Okay, remember that prep work we want to go ahead and do. And this I'm just going to use more as a coloring for it. Down on it like this. And then turn it, slip some in here. But I need to cut some of these leaves off or they're going to get caught. And keep turning and adding your greenery as you go. Try not to lose that form that you are trying to create. You also have to consider you don't want a big bulky stem either. That sometimes can cause trouble. If the bride has a very small hand, you don't want them to be struggling just to hold their wedding bouquet. So there's lots of different things to consider when making a wedding bouquet, or any bouquet for that matter. Okay, so let's check this out. It's pretty good. I'm going to add one more piece of Million Star right by this sunflower just because doesn't seem happy today, like I would like it to. Then find what stem it is, pull it through, there. I like that better. Very nice. So once I have that fixed, some people like to use waterproof tape, but I just use whatever I have, and I have some of this ribbon. And what I'm gonna do with this, and I'm gonna grab my actual ribbon scissors. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm going to wrap it around, and this is gonna kind of keep it tight until I can get the actual ribbon that I'm gonna use on it. Hold it tight, and then I'm gonna put it between my legs and give it a good tie. Tie it in a knot. And you won't see this at all because I'm gonna have some other ribbon wrapped around it for the handle. Okay. And then I'm just gonna add another piece down below just to give it a little bit more hold until so the most popular type of ribbon to use on your handheld bouquets is a satin ribbon, but they want like a more of a burlap outdoor country type feel. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna set my bouquet down real quick. And on here, I'm gonna kind of just measure some out and give it a snip. Now I like to, instead of just leaving the edge like this, I like to take it and fold it over, like so. And then I'm gonna take my hot glue gun, which I already have plugged in. And then I'm just gonna fold it over. Be careful when you use your hot glue gun. Ouch. Okay, it's hot, hence hot glue gun. There you go. Now I'm going to start up high, and I'm going to just wrap this around, pull it tight. I like mine to be tight when I do this. And then we can go ahead and add a little bit more hot glue. To hold it down in place. And there you have it, a nice wedding bouquet. Now the stems are long, so I am going to, I have this great chopper that is for stems, stem chopper. Okay. And now this is ready for the bride. So I'm just going to set it here in this vase for right now. Make sure you clean off if any of the leaves have come through. You don't want those showing. She doesn't want those. So go ahead, set it in a vase. You do want the vase to have water, so I do have water in there for it. Now the next thing, this is going to be a real simple boutonniere. Nothing too fancy. I could add a flower, but I think it's a little large. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll hold off on a flower for it. I've already talked to them, they really didn't want anything huge in it for the boutonniere. So we're just gonna take a few pieces, and this always happens to me. I set things down, there they are. Here's my scissors or my floral shears. And I'm just gonna clip off a couple, maybe one more. There you go. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Million Star. I'm going to take some of these lower leaves off. It's a little too much for this. But now it will tie in with her bouquet nicely, and it won't take away from it. Now we're just going to add this with it. Just behind. Now what I'm going to use to hold it all together is, this is called bouillon wire, and I really like it. It's very thin wire, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around quite a few times. Just keep wrapping it until, you know, you're happy with it. There's lots of other products you can use to do this, but this is one of them that I like to use, and it comes in all different colors. Type of aluminum wire is what it is. So I think I'm going to stop there. I have my wire cutters because we don't want to use our ribbon scissors or our floral shears to be cutting with. So I left a little down when I started, and so I take those, and it's kind of like just a little twist tie is what I like to do. I'll just wrap it around a couple more times. More times. Give it another twist. Okay. And then if you have extra, I just go ahead and clip that off. And there you go. You have a nice little boutonniere for the groom. And don't forget your boutonniere pin. They won't be very happy if you get there and don't have it. But we're going to put a boutonniere pin in it. Here's the little box, the boutonniere box, and we're going to spray it with this finishing spray that I have in a container. It just kind of keeps it hydrated. We're going to stick it in the floor cooler. I'm going to give our bouquet a little bit also. And there you have it, a boutonniere and a bouquet for the happy couple.